Hi, everyone. Welcome to King Talks, the platform where we share marketing ideas worth spreading. Whether you are joining us on LinkedIn or on YouTube, unfortunately, Facebook is not available today. Please feel free, though, to leave us a big thumbs up and feel free to drop any questions or comments because we would love to engage with you much further. My guest today is Mamorena Jahane. Mamarena is the managing director at Takatso Marketing. She has a BA degree in corporate communications, an honors degree in brand and leadership, as well as certifications in executive management, international marketing, and international strategy. So the services that she provides through Takatso Marketing include, but are not limited to, marketing consulting, event marketing, event planning, project management, advertising, social media marketing, as well as brand marketing. And that last point right there is exactly why we invited her today, because we are talking all about brand building. So without any further ado, Marina, please take over.
Hi, Tamara. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I feel really privileged to come and have a bit of a conversation with you about branding and something that I'm very passionate about. And that's actually where Takatso means. Takatso means passion and desire in Southern Sotho. So for me, my branding journey, I guess, started quite some time ago when I watched a simplistic movie called The Wedding Planner. And I got so fascinated about the way that she was so meticulous about every single step that she took, and the way that she presented how every single moment had to capture something. And that's where my journey with falling in love with branding is about. And I think that there are a lot of businesses, small enterprises and medium enterprises who don't quite understand the concept of branding. And I'm going to try and simplify it in the best way that I can. There's a movie that I actually love called The Founder. And it's a story about how McDonald's was started. And if you've actually watched or done some research about the story, you'll know that actually the a gentleman named Ray actually took McDonald's away from the McDonald's brothers who had originally started it. And there's a line in the movie where he says, "You know what? It's in the name. It's not in what we offer, it's in the name." And I think a lot of people need to start understanding that a brand is not just about a name, but it's about how you present yourself out into the world. The reason we can see brands like Coca-Cola or Apple or Microsoft and be able to just engage with them and notice them immediately is because they've created a nostalgia, they've created a story, they've actually become a part of our lives. I mean, I know for me, I have an Apple everything, phone, watch, laptop, pods, and not because necessarily it's the best brand out there, but because they are a part of my everyday life. And anytime I see that Apple logo, I'm intrigued. I need to know what's going on. So for me, I want entrepreneurs to try and understand that branding is not just about creating a beautiful logo and putting yourself out and creating a great CI, which is a corporate identity, which is a must for every business. But it's trying to build a brand that will connect with your customer and your ideal target audience. It's to give them that nostalgia and that understanding of why they need you as a part of their lives. You know, in the times that we've had with COVID, a lot of brands have had to change their way of thinking of how to present themselves, how to engage with their consumers. And I think we found it as marketers quite a challenge because before it was very simple. We had TV, we had radio, we had print media, we had billboards. What else did you need? But now we're moving into an age where consumers have become more intelligent. Consumers are wanting to know more, and consumers are wanting to say, if you want me to engage with your brand or purchase your brand, what is it bringing into my life? What is the added benefit? So, for small and medium enterprises, you need to understand that building a brand is about making people connect with you in a different way. You know, I think in South Africa we can stand so easy. Coca-Cola is everywhere. Whether you're looking for a Fanta, whether you're looking for a Sprite, we know it. You can be in Soshanguve, you can be in Camps Bay, you can be at the top of Kimberley, And the minute you see Coca-Cola, it's so instantly recognizable. Why? Not necessarily because you know the brand, because it's something you grew up with, because you know the moments that you shared, because you remember that time when you went somewhere and your grandmother bought you your first Fanta or your first Sprite. You've engaged with it. It gives you nostalgia. It gives you a memory, even though you don't realize it. And that's actually how marketing is. It works with the sensories in our brain. It's actually a psychology behind it. Um, so we need to start understanding that. So small to intimate to small to medium enterprises, you have to start engaging and understanding how do you create your brand equity, how do you create brand loyalty? How do you get people to start engaging and understanding how your brand is? Let me bring it a little bit further home. There's a beautiful brand that I love called Batu. And I had the privilege of meeting Theo a couple of years ago when I was actually doing my MAPS course at the business school, because we did our marketing case study on his brand, and how he could leverage and grow his brand further. And at that time, Theo had a small little warehouse in Sunning Hill, probably had a couple of shops, but he was literally selling out of his boot. But he created a story. He said, I want to make South African shoes made by South Africans. And in the township that he grows up in, Alex, they call them Batus. So he was just like, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So he has created and built a brand about something nostalgic, something that South Africans we can connect to. And it's a story of one of our homeboys. He comes from the township of Alex, has created this brand called Batu that all of us know, and we know what a Batu is. It's a sneaker, and we have leverage, and he has grown his brand to I think he's opening about his 28th store at this point. You have to understand that leveraging a brand, leveraging a story, leveraging how people are able to connect with you and connect with what you offer is the most important thing. Gone are the days of being, oh, here's what I do, this is what I offer, buy it. It doesn't work like that. Consumers now are so concerned about every cent that they spend. And when they do spend it, they want to know why they're spending it, why they're connecting with your brand, and the purpose of it. So brands need to get a little bit more of an understanding, not necessarily brands. Let me say, but young Black professionals who are starting businesses, you need to start understanding how do you leverage your brand and how do you get yourself out there. And I know as a young Black female, because I'm really passionate about growing young Black females. And the reason is because, my corporate life hasn't been easy. I have been marginalized, I've been put down, I have been pushed out of businesses, I have been fired from jobs. Because I didn't fit the mold, I didn't speak, I wasn't a yes man, I didn't do things the way that people expected me to do things. Why? First of all, because I was creating the Mamrena brand. I'm passionate, I'm excited, I have an amazing work ethic. I put my passion, my everything in everything that I do. And businesses need to understand that by creating your brand, creating who you are, you need to be authentic. You need to stand for what you believe in, and you need to understand that as young Black females, we are fighting such a difficult fight out there because our voices are always closed. We are fighting Black men, we are fighting white men, we're fighting white people, we're fighting white women, we're fighting everybody all of the time because brands also don't represent us correctly. I know when I was growing up, the brands, I would see Black women washing, Omo, hand washing, or washing dishes, or mopping a floor. And I never grew up like that. And, I did grow up in a bit of privilege. I had a helper in the home. So I never saw my mother mopping the floor and washing dishes. I couldn't relate to that. And that's the type of agency that I want to build, that speaks the authentic truth of what we are and give representation and diversity and inclusion and for me to be able to stand and say, you know what, as a Black female, this is who I am. I'm intelligent, I work hard, I understand things, I'm learning things. So yes, I hope that I've given you a little bit of insight. I know my time is up. So
No,
let
it's
me not
not. Please
continue.
go
Oh,
continue.
must I continue? Yeah, so for me, I've like I said, I'm trying to create an agency that is going to try and take the Black female, tell the stories, tell the authentic stories of our Black people, represent us not just as workers behind the scene, or sometimes I'll see a wine ad and you'll see Black people picking the grapes. Now, I love my wine and my champagne. Why can I not be seen as enjoying it on the yacht? You're always seeing representation just doesn't exist in the advertising space. I mean, let's really be honest. I think there are very few Black agencies within our space, especially in the advertising, marketing, digital marketing space. There are very few Black-owned agencies that are trying to push the narrative, and I think are doing amazing work. And shout out to them. Well done, guys. Keep pushing the fight. But also for us to be able for doors to be open for us as well as Black women who are trying to navigate through this world of advertising and marketing. That when you come into, I remember once I sat in a meeting, and the gentleman said to me, "Now I've got 25 years experience in advertising and events." And I went, "Well, I have 5 years. Does that make you any better than me? Does that mean you know more than I do?" Absolutely, I agree. You have the wisdom, you have the knowledge, but then don't throw it in my face. Educate me, mentor me, teach me, um, impart your wisdom on me. And that's the spaces that I'm trying to create, and that's why I love this King Talks that you have created, because it's giving us a space to be able to speak our truth and to be able to show that it isn't easy. I promise you, running an advertising agency or marketing agency, it isn't easy. It is not easy to go pitching. It's not easy for people to not pick up your calls. It's not easy when you have to put together creative pitches, and you're going out to people and they're going, "Where's your website? Where's your CI? Where's your this?" And you're going, all of these things take money. I understand. I know how to brand myself. I know how to market myself. But it also does take money. It also takes money. It takes effort. It takes a lot to go into understanding who's your target audience. How are you going to speak to them? How do you reach them? Because I know that sometimes brands there are a lot of brands who make a lot of mistakes and go, "Oh, we need to have a social media presence." And you're going, "Well, you're in finance and tech. That's not your space." Um, because finance and tech guys are not on Instagram. We know that the Instagram demographics is 18 to 25. They're not interested in investing 35 million in a tech industry. Yes, maybe they want to know about it, but as agencies and advocates of branding, we need to also be giving our clients the correct information to be able to say, maybe you don't need an Instagram page. Maybe you need to be more on LinkedIn. Maybe you need to find other social media platforms except the top three that we all know. Because I think we live in a world where we get into this bubble with whole things. You need to be on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and TikTok and there's so many other branding avenues. There's so many other things that people need to be doing. And as brands, if you just do a little bit of research, if you get in touch with people like myself or Tamara to be able to guide you and give you some kind of information on where you need to be seen, how you need to be seen, who your audience is, and how you can actually build a brand that one day your children and your children's children can say, "My dad did that. My mom built that. You see that? You see that building? You see that logo? My grandmother did that." Because that's how you build a brand at the end of the day, is that you have to make the mistakes, learn, get the advice that you can get, but also know what you want your brand to stand for. Know where you want your brand to go. Know where you want your brand to be seen. When I created my agency, I had to do a business plan, and one of the things they ask you in a business plan is, who are your competitors? And I went Ogilvy, M&C, Saatchi, Abel. And I remember my mentor at the time said to me, "You're reaching quite high." And I went, "No, because that's the brand I want to be. This, that is, I want to be next to those brands. I want
Mm-hmm.
one day for my agency to stand next to those brands. I want to be winning lorries. I want to be, that is the brand that I'm building." And your dream, your vision is valid. That's the one thing I want people to also know. Don't ever shy away and think that it's too big. You will fall. Microsoft fell, Apple fell, Kodak fell. You will fall. It will be hard, but keep pushing, keep trekking through it, because your brand has a purpose. You have something to give. And if you just continue, it will be amazing. It will be great. The breakthrough will come. Trust me, I will be honest, it's not always easy. I don't know if there's any questions for me, or are there any
Yes,
comments that
yes.
people have come through with?
So Sean commented saying that the conversation is amazing, and said it entirely on YouTube, saying that we're having a great conversation. So thank you so much, guys, for the comments, and thank you for tuning in. Sean Andrew also has a question. He wants to know the name of your agency, and perhaps you'd like to just tell us a little bit of like background on your agency, so that Sean is able to, get a deep understanding of who you really are and what it is that you do.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sean, for the questions, and love to all the people who are watching. So I'm Takatso Marketing, TAKTSO Marketing. You'll find me on Facebook, on Instagram, I'm Takatso Hub. Otherwise, you can just search for me, Mamorana Chane, on LinkedIn. I see my name here has got a double M. But on LinkedIn, if you just scratch one of the M's out, you'll be able to find me. So basically, the agency that I have that I'm busy building is it's a female forward agency. So I'm the founder. I have a couple of other partners that I've partnered with, a digital agency, and I work with quite a few freelancers and creative directors that I have on my team. And we're focusing mainly on brand analysis, on marketing strategies, on experiential and the words just ran away from me. Experiential marketing, which is pretty much it's a better way of saying eventing. But obviously with COVID and the way that things have changed, we have to look at different ways of being able to touch audiences. And then obviously digital marketing. I work with a team of females only. Not that I am against my male counterparts. You guys have imparted a lot, but I'm really passionate about growing Black females. I think Black females are very creative. I think they have a lot to offer, and I think they have a lot to give. And so I'm trying to give Black females some opportunity to be able to come and show what they can do. So for anybody who's looking for me to put some strategies together, some pictures or some ideas for you, please do hit us up. You can also contact me on mamorena@takatohub.co.za. That's MAMORENA.TAKATSOHUB.co.za. As well, my number is 082-757-4506. So you can message me or give me a call, and I'm happy to put some stuff together for you, for anybody who would be interested. And let's make some magic and tell some beautiful stories and start connecting and helping brands out there create amazing brand stories and amazing brands. Like I said, that one day we can all sit and our grandchildren can go, "My mama did that." That's where I'm pushing to.
Awesome. We've got another question from Sean. He wants to know, how important do you believe is a trademark if you are, building a brand?
Sean, at the start of my business, I don't think I never thought that it was really important, to be honest with you, to trademark stuff. But when you are a new starting business, I think it's actually really paramount. Listen, it costs a lot of money to do those things. Trademarking stuff does cost a lot of money. So that much I'm going to warn you, I've done the research. But I think it is at the start of your business, if you have the funds to do it, I think you should. Because a lot of people can take ideas, a lot of people steal ideas. I'm sure Tamara can tell you in the space that we work in marketing and advertising, you can pitch an idea to a client and they literally can decline you, and 3 months later, you're literally watching your campaign rolling out verbatim.
Mm-hmm.
So it is quite difficult, but I think that if you can trademark your stuff, please do. But especially if you have a product that you are selling, definitely trademark it. That one is not a question. If you are doing a hair care product, if you are building an app, if you are building a laptop, a phone, whatever it may be, if it is a tangible product, please do trademark it. Yeah, we don't live in a very honest world, unfortunately.
No, definitely 100% true. Got one comment here saying this conversation is whoa. So thank you so much for that, Richard. I don't see any more questions coming in from the audience. I just want us to go back to one question. Like you mentioned something, and I just want to touch on that a little bit. So you mentioned that as a small size business, you have to build connectivity with your potential clients. So how exactly, can you please give us an example or two of how a small business out there can build connectivity with their potential clients?
So, for me, I'm going to give you an example of what I've done for my business and a couple of my clients. I like something where I create a customer avatar. So, I have a program where literally I create an avatar and I go, who is the ideal customer that we would like to target? Who do we want to buy our product? Who do we want to actually walk into the shop or into my agency? Because you have to remember, one of the most important things is who I may want to come into my agency or walk into my store or engage with my brand may not necessarily be who I think it is. So for me, I would start off with an avatar of who I would ideally want. Then I would do a couple of feelers of engagement. I did a couple of posts on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook to start seeing who was starting to interact with my brand and with my product. Because all of us, we think that's the nice thing about marketing. We think we know, but we don't actually know. So at the end of the day, you need to do the research of who would interact with your brand. And for me, it also sits with when you're at a braai, when you're out with friends in a public space, that is your perfect opportunity to start doing some research. Ask people, would you be interested in this? Would you be interested in that? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? Because that's where you start getting what we call field research that you actually pay for free. Start engaging with your network and the people around you to start getting to understand who actually is going to interact with your brand. You wouldn't, let's take an example of like a shoe. Let's take a Louis Vuitton shoe. You're not really going to market that to a male. Males will know about it through a female going, I want that shoe. So you then are going, I need female. I need to start with a simple example, female. Now, a Louis Vuitton shoe is 50,000. That already cuts down your target audience. Who has the affordability to buy a 50,000 Rand shoe? Then you start going, okay, if this person has the affordability to buy a 50,000 Rand shoe, where would they wear the shoe to? And then that's how you start segmenting. In the marketing terms, we call it segmenting your market. You filter down to say, okay, I'm focusing on females. Let's take another example. Maybe Louis Vuitton was too much. Let's take an Apple Watch. Sorry, because I've got one on. So you'll start with fitness, right? So it's broad, fitness. Then you'll go, okay, fitness people who maybe want to exercise daily, filters it a bit further. Then it goes, okay, if we're selling an Apple Watch at about 3,000 Rand, filters it further. Then if we're selling it at 3,000 Rand, the people who can have an Apple Watch need to have an Apple phone, filters it further. Okay, so if they need to have an Apple phone and an Apple Watch, then and they need to be exercising and wanting to know, filters it further. I hope I'm explaining it to the best that I can. That is the best way of segmenting. Is you start very broad. And listen, it's taken some companies, there's still some big brands out there who's still filtering down who their target audience is. It's a consistent work in progress. That's the most important thing you need to know. You will never ever be able to bed down and say, this is 100% the person that I target. Yes, there are brands out there who are lucky to do that, but there's some brands that aren't. But your filtering is always, you will consistently filter and filter and filter and filter. But you need to start going through the processes of that segmentation to be able to understand. Let me give another example of what I spoke about earlier, Batu. When I spoke to Theo and we were doing the exam, he said to me, he's realized that people in the non-urban areas are the guys who are interacting and ordering his brands more. So if you look at where he's putting up his shops, there isn't one in Joburg CBD, there isn't one in Sandton, there isn't one in Mall of Africa or Menlyn. He's gone to the malls, Jabulani Mall. He's gone to malls in Kimberley, in Bloemfontein, in Cape Town. Not the usual Centurion. He's gone to where his audience is. And he's taken time. When people were ordering his stuff in the beginning, he started to see, oh, wait, you know what? The guys from this area order more than Joburg CBD. They order more than, and that's where he's putting his stores. That's how you start filtering. You start seeing who's interacting with your product so that you're able to then go, this is how I start filtering. Don't try and sell, an Apple Watch to somebody who doesn't have an iPhone. It doesn't make sense, So start seeing, even when people are ordering your products, start looking who's ordering your products. What is their age group, their demographics? Where do they live? What's their earning potential? What do they do on weekends for enjoyment? That's how you start getting to build your target audience. But then there's always businesses like me who can help you.
Definitely. Okay, Marina, I just want to touch on one more thing and then we can call it a day. I don't see any more questions coming in. So I love the fact that you mentioned that, when you started out, someone told you that you are aiming too high. And, that is exactly what I got as well. People just send me, like your ideas are just a little too big, like, need to dumb it down a little bit. So, okay, before I touch on that, I see one more question coming in. Richard says that I registered my business 7 years ago, and my plan was to be in supply chain departments. Now I feel like I built a brand, but also, please also. Oh, okay, cool. So it's not a question really. So he just wants us to promote his brand. Richard, I will give you a shout out. Don't worry. Cool. So I was just wanting to know, so for those people who are, in that startup phase, they are trying to build something really, really big, but there are people that are, trying to hold them back and hold them down. What is that final message that you would give to those people?
Like I said earlier, your dreams are valid. What you want to do is valid. One of the most important things when I started my entrepreneur journey that I knew was very important was my mental health. You need to be, in entrepreneurship, you need to be your own cheerleader. It's one of the toughest things. You need to every single day stand up and go, I'm going to do this. I'm going to push. And when you get knocked down, take a day's rest and get back up. It's not easy. I'll tell you that. It really is not easy, guys. What you need to do is understand that when you look at the Steve Jobs of the world, the Bill Gates, the Mark Zuckerbergs, they started somewhere. Facebook didn't exist 10 years ago. Apple didn't exist 20 years ago. They were told the exact same thing that you are. The example I used earlier about the McDonald's brothers. The McDonald's brothers didn't believe in their brand. All they wanted to do was sell a $1 hamburger. But Ray Kroc came along and saw the potential, dreamed big, and did it. You have to push your own dreams. Nobody else will push it for you. You have to wake up every morning. I wake up every morning and I do validations. I do validations every day for myself. I do validations for my business. I sit and I go, in my office, I literally have the Ogilvy logo, the MNC Saatchi logo, my company logo, because I'm like, Lord Jesus, that's where I'm
That's
going. It is, entrepreneurship isn't easy. I have an entrepreneur group, sister group, that we're on WhatsApp and we support each other, and every day somebody's going, I need this and I need that, and money's being pulled this way, and this isn't coming through, and that client hasn't paid you, and this isn't happening. And I've got a friend who's creating a hairline brand, and her mixtures aren't working correctly, and it's hard, guys. That's the one thing they don't tell you. It's really hard, but keep pushing, keep checking, and reach out to Tamara, to myself, to other entrepreneurs. At the end of the day, collaboration, guys, is so important. And as young Black females, we need to start supporting and networking with each other. And the only way my brand will grow is if I support Tamara's brand. Tamara's brand will grow when she supports Susie's brand. Susie's brand will grow when we support Lerato's brand. Guys, we need to collaborate with each other. I'm not going to get business or grow in a marketing agency if nobody out there wants to utilize my services. We need to start collaborating and being there with each other and supporting each other to say, your dream is valid. What you want to happen will happen. Push through.
awesome. I'm hoping that you've got time for one more question.
Of course.
Awesome. And Taiba wants to know what is the best way to approach agencies for building their brands, and what are some of the do's and don'ts?
Sorry, just repeat the question for me again. How do you approach agencies?
Yes, to help them build their brands.
So the most important thing that I've always stood with is about doing a proper and established brief. A lot of people like to talk. And the problem with talking is that when we get to, because Tamara knows the world that we live in, it's spinning consistently and things are changing all of the time, that sometimes you actually forget what the end goal is. So the most important thing is understanding what the end goal is. Yet again, I'm going to
The
use a
end goal
specific,
of that agency, or
the end goal of what the brand wants. What is the end goal that the brand wants? That is the most important thing, is that as an agency, when I had a mentor once who said to me, you have to solve a problem, don't sell yourself. That is the most important thing. If you're going to approach people, you need to put together a brief document, sit together with your creatives and say, where do I see the issue in this brand for me to be able to do it? That is the most important thing. That is how every business in this world is built by solving a problem. I drive the car that I drive because I need to get from A to B. I have the phone that I have because it connects to everything. I shop at Woolworths because they promise me quality and I know what I'm getting. It's, what, you have to solve a problem. That's the most important thing. Gone are the days, guys, of putting together a presentation and going, hi, I'm Takatso Marketing. We were created 7 years ago. We have worked with Heineken and nobody's interested. Nobody has the time for it anymore. You need to go to them and go, I can solve this for you because I saw this problem. And you put together a pitch for them, and either it works or it doesn't work. So like they say, you kiss 100 frogs before you get to the prince. It's the same thing with business. You may do 50 pitches and only one comes back, or none come back, and you do another 50. But you know what? The one thing I do know, in that process, you will learn. You will keep learning and you will be able to see different things. But stick to a proper brief and know what you want the ROI at the end of that to be. So as a business approaching other brands, solve their problem, but know what you're solving. If you're going to say your social media is lacking, or you're not engaging with the correct audience on your social media, be able to show to them why. Show them the stats why. Show them the analytics of why, and show them how you can resolve to get them to engage with their proper target audience and how you can resolve that for them. The best way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Morena, for your time. I do not want to go any further right now. And thank you so much, guys, for watching and tuning in. Please feel free to share this live with all your friends and family if you believe that it is a marketing idea worth spreading. Thank you so much once again, and I'll see you next week.
Bye. Bye.